My name's Angelo, and welcome to We Want Picks. This is the only channel dedicated to UFC picks and DraftKings lineups run by professional fighters and MMA insiders. Every week, I join Nick Newell, professional fighter, professional model, and ESPN Top 10 guest, along with Dan Kramer, UFC fighter, Bellator fighter, Ultimate Fighter alumni, and Jacob Lyons, a skinny kid from Indiana. And we break down every single fight, the betting odds, the DraftKings picks, and we set you up for success. This week, we're breaking down the Blaydes versus Lewis fight night. The main event of UFC fight night is Curtis Blaydes versus Derrick Lewis. We have the tried and true wrestle first, wrestle only Curtis Blaydes versus the Derrick Lewis. I will do whatever I need to do to win this fight. Jiu-jitsu isn't real. It doesn't exist. Interesting matchup, honestly. It isn't on paper because paper says Curtis Blaydes is going to take Derrick Lewis down, punch his teeth in, and win that fight. But history says Derrick Lewis will be flat on his back in round 3, just stand up out of nowhere and punch you in the face and you're unconscious. And Volkov knows that. So it's somewhat of an interesting matchup. Jacob, I'll go to you. We talked earlier, you mentioned the Ngannou loss and the comparison there. So why don't you go ahead and give us your thoughts?
Yeah, all it takes is one punch. I mean, when you're in this weight class, all it takes is one punch. But when it's Derrick Lewis, all it takes is one punch. And everyone knows the shots are coming, and it's going to take him one uppercut, just a fraction of an uppercut to put Blaydes down. Will that happen? I don't know. Originally, I based my lineup around Derrick Lewis, meaning I liked him to win the fight just to get it done the way Ngannou got it done. And then I started thinking about more and more, and you just can't, with all the points that are available to come to Blaydes with all the takedowns, because as you mentioned, Derrick Lewis a lot of times doesn't have great takedown defense. It's getting better, but sometimes he's just so strong that he just says, you know what, I think I'm just going to stand up, like you mentioned, and he'll just stand up. But Blaydes is going to take him down repeatedly. You can't pass up those points. I love Derrick Lewis. I hope he gets the big win. Originally, I had him in my lineup to get a bunch of big favorites, but I switched it around and I have Curtis Blaydes, and I think he wins the fight.
Yeah, so I have Curtis Blaydes in my lineup. I think he wins. Anytime you have the power of Derrick Lewis, there's the threat of that. But I just listen. His takedown defense has gotten much better. It genuinely has. It hasn't gotten that. It hasn't gotten Curtis Blaydes better. That's a big gap, right? Learning how to defend takedowns against an MMA fighter versus learning how to defend takedowns against a phenomenal wrestler who fights MMA. Nick, what are your thoughts here? Do you think what I'm going to reword that. What chance do you give Derrick Lewis to win this fight?
Okay, so I'll give you a little preface on this. Actually, when I was visiting ATT, Derrick Lewis was a roommate of mine. I lived with him for like a month that I was there, and very nice guy, very funny guy before he was popular. It was right when he first got in the UFC. Ended up moving back to Texas, doing all his camps there. But before he got in the UFC, he fought Jared Rosholt, who was a PFL finalist, very good national champ wrestler. And Rosholt took him down, and he got up and knocked him out. And he made me watch the video of it and the interview where he said, I'm going to get up. He's going to take me down, but he's going to get tired. And eventually I'm just going to get up. You take Lewis down, he pops back up. You take him down, he pops back up. Iganov took him down. Latifi took him down. Oleinik took him down. Those are his last 3 fights. Cormier took him down, submitted him. He beat Ngannou in the most boring fight I've ever seen. But he won. And you look at that, Roy Nelson took him down. That was a while ago. So his takedown defense isn't as good as his ability to get back to his feet. So I don't really think his wrestling's improving. I think he's just getting better at getting up once he gets taken down. And he never quits. He has so much heart. He'll never give up. He's never truly out of a fight, because even going into the last 10 seconds, he will throw everything he has behind every shot, and he could win off of one punch. With that said, Curtis Blaydes is my meme buddy. We send each other memes all the time on Instagram. He's got some funny ones. Many of them I actually reshare that he sends me because they're pretty funny. I share them on my story. Blaydes is not as good of a wrestler as someone like Jared Rochelle, but what he does better is he's a better striker. If you look at his last fight versus Volkov, he was winning a lot of those striking exchanges and then taking him down. If you look at his fight versus Junior Dos Santos, who knocked out Derrick Lewis, he knocked out Junior Dos Santos standing. And obviously the threat of the takedown changes that a little bit, so that could have been something, but he still got it done. When he takes you down, you're not getting back up. If you do get back up, he's going to mock you. He's going to shoot on you again, and he's going to take you back down. I see a lot of points scored for Curtis Blaydes this fight. Takedown, Lewis works, gets up. Takedown, works, gets up. He might even set a DraftKings record for takedowns. I think he wins this fight. I'm putting Blaydes in my lineup. That's that.
Yeah, so two things. I didn't know you roomed with Derrick Lewis for a little while. So very.
I like it. He's funny. I like him. I'm just being like real about what I think is going to happen in this fight. And also, he called out Curtis Blaydes, so that might change something. But I'm going with Blaydes.
Well, and the other thing I wanted to point out before I give to you, Dan, for a pick is takedowns in DraftKings are worth 5 points. So you actually score more points. If you take somebody down, they stand up, you take them down again, that's 10 points. And the person standing up, you got nothing for the stand up. So a fight like this where Derrick Lewis bounces right back up, if he can, that's a lot of points. The repeated takedowns is a lot of points to score. That's why he's definitely in my lineup. So Dan, what'd you do here?
Yeah, I got Blaydes in my lineup too. I think he's got crazy cardio, good wrestling, good ground and pound. He's an underrated striker too. With Lewis and his power, there's always that chance where he lands a big one early and kind of ruins the night. But man, the upside on Blaydes is huge in terms of points. And honestly, I think he can get a finish on this one. One thing I'll say about Lewis, because I was thinking about all his fights. I'm like, man, he gets taken down, but he always figures a way to scramble back up. And I was just looking at the guys that took him down, and most of them were undersized heavyweights. Even Rochelle, I think you mentioned earlier, Nick, he's probably 240-ish, right? Blaydes is 260 something, right? 260 and change, 6'4". He's a legit size heavyweight. So when he gets on top of you, it's different than when Alexei Oleinik was on top of him last fight, who did get on top of Lewis. So if Alexei Oleinik is getting on top of Lewis, I mean, Curtis Blaydes is going to get on top, and it's going to be a different scenario. I think he's going to land a lot of punches. I think he's going to keep him down. And I think, honestly, he might get the finish, TKO, in round 3, maybe round 4. But I'm putting Blaydes in my lineup.
Are you is that a prop bet that you're gonna touch?
I don't know. I'm gonna look before I make my side bets. I'm gonna look into it a little bit more. But yeah, I might take Blaydes by finish, depending what the odds are.
So 4 up, 4 down for us. We're all going Curtis Blaydes. I don't think anybody's going Derrick Lewis in their lineups. He is super cheap, but I don't think anybody sees sort of the volume that we'll need. If he does win, it will be by knockout, and there'll be a bunch of points there. But if he loses, he'll score like 10 points or something absurdly low because he'll be taken down over and over and over again. So it should be a fun fight. It'll be exciting. Every Derrick Lewis fight always is. So check out our DraftKings breakdown video, and then if there's any changes, we'll come back and we'll talk about any fights that might be added before fight night. Before you go, check out the description below. In there, we have links to our Facebook, our Twitter, our Instagram, and more importantly, to our DraftKings League. Check out the league, join the league, participate in the contests, and as we get going and as you start winning, we're going to start handing out gift cards and participating and doing things like that. So check those out. Every week, there are drops on every fight card. So make sure you check out this channel and our social media on Saturday before the fights start so that you have our most updated lineups and picks.